Okay, let me direct Mike instead of Pablo then for the editorial judgment on where it is we should start the local hour today, given your Homer biases, given the fact that you helped fly a plane in Texas over where the committee was to remind them that head-to-head mattered. I legitimately think, Pablo, that Mike Ryan and people of his voice actually helped change this because the committee was forced long before they had to do it to put Notre Dame and Miami side to side. And I believe arguing actually got Miami into the playoff.
I think it's never been clearer, and it's never been sadder that Mike Ryan is an actual bona fide power broker. He is actively changing the conversation. He is throwing dark money, which maybe is, Dan, your money, but maybe also just Mike's money. I don't know.
He didn't even
Who's funding Mike Ryan?
No, I said to Mike Ryan, look, Mike Ryan had a dark weekend, okay? Mike Ryan was confident publicly.
A dark money weekend.
He was confident publicly, but privately, the morning all of this was happening, he was dying inside because he's like, what do you think's going to happen if there are two spots for three teams? It's Alabama, Notre Dame, and Miami. He had all of the persecution complex. But one of the things he did, he pooled money to fly a plane over where it is, was it Grapevine, Texas, where the committee was meeting? And
that's
also,
a real place.
Didn't you put up billboards as well? Because I said, I wish we'd done that. And Mike Ryan said to me, I did do that.
Yeah,
I did put money into that. And then someone else tried to take credit for it, right?
Yeah. Lifestyle Miami. God, we love them. They own the Chargers and Battle Court. More on that in a moment. But yeah, I was part of a group that did that because head-to-head should matter. And I'm glad that it did ultimately. It was ridiculous that it didn't matter for a month. But yeah, all this stuff. It's ridiculous that this stuff is decided in a literal back room with 12 old rich white guys, and they're
Condi.
No, not Condi anymore.
I saw one woman though.
There is one woman. There, yeah, there is a woman. But they're impressionable. And I told you on Friday's show, people were going to wake up to a whole new world where everyone was all of a sudden going to start stating the obvious. And we had Kirk Herbstreit, we had Nick Saban, you had Urban Meyer, you had Greg McElroy, you had all these people saying head-to-head mattered. And I was really confident entering that Big Ten title game where Mark Ingram, a Heisman Trophy winner for Alabama, is even saying Alabama doesn't belong in here. And I got really worried by how that Alabama game developed because Alabama.
You think the Bama fans are mad?
Dan, Alabama is the first team in the CFP era to not slide whatsoever in the rankings after losing their conference championship game, and they got blown out. They had -3 rushing yards. Miami rushed for more yards on Saturday than Alabama did. BYU slides because they got beaten in a similar fashion, and that's the benefit that benefits Miami. But I can't for the life of me understand why Alabama didn't move down. Notre Dame should feel wrong because they are better than Alabama. They are better than Oklahoma. But the discourse nationally was always about Miami and Notre Dame, and Miami always had the head-to-head.
Did you hire the nightclub plane? Like I'm like on Miami Beach and I see the at Live tonight or 11 or whatever. Did you literally get the same plane? Because that's what it looks like.
It was very expensive because that plane departed from Opelika.
H2H Batters Miami in feels like a threat, frankly. I mean, when I say power, Dad, we're living in this time when politicians actively are leaving their coalitions because they're afraid of the maniacs in their mentions who will send mail to their house and dox them. What Mike Ryan did in this billboard and that plane is basically say, we are going to spend money haunting you if you don't do what we want.
I do believe that Miami argued its way into this over the last month because it's true what Mike is saying, that all the voices were saying this except for Joey Galloway. Joey Galloway says that what just happened is very strange, and it is very strange. It's wrong, and it's going to end the bowl system as you know it. Look, you can't wrong Notre Dame like this and not have major change. One of the great things that I read is that Notre Dame now has it contractually guaranteed that if this happens to them next year again, they're automatically in writing, no matter what it is that they're doing with the system, because they have a contractual clause that if they'd had it this year, can you imagine if they had it this year? Can you imagine how crazy Miami would be if this had already happened last year and Notre Dame had a contractual clause that got them into a violent sports championship round with paperwork? And that's what Notre Dame has now. But when you have the athletic director, Pete Pavakwa, the wording he's using, he's calling it a farce. He's saying it's a shock. He's saying he's in utter disbelief. He's saying they feel like they were punched in the stomach. All of Notre Dame was watching that, waiting to see who they'd play. Notre Dame was sitting in front of the television assuming that this could not happen, that this was not something that was even possible. And I legitimately feel bad for them because they're right. The system is wrong and Notre Dame is right. Notre Dame is better than Oklahoma. Notre Dame is better than Alabama. Notre Dame is better than James Madison. What Notre Dame is not better than is Duke. I am serious when I say, if you told me before the year, here's a riddle. Manny Diaz is going to win an ACC championship before Mario Cristobal does, but Mario Cristobal is going to play for the actual championship that year while Manny Diaz doesn't. I wouldn't have known how to explain it to you. Like, I would not, having seen it happen, I would not have been able to answer the riddle, how does Manny Diaz go 7-5, win the ACC, but Mario Cristobal is the one who gets to play for the championship against Texas A&M. By the way, it probably goes without saying, that is by far Miami's toughest game this year. Texas A&M is, their next game is their most difficult game. I'm just glad I get to see them play another one. But Notre Dame's yanking its ball. You see what Notre Dame did? Notre Dame took away the money from the television networks, like took its ball and went home and said, we're not playing in a bowl game.
Yeah.
This is going to end the bowl system.
Oh, I like that take. By the way, so that's how Notre Dame does business, right? They do it like through official legal channels. They're getting rules and policy changes enacted. And Miami does this. They do whatever Mike Ryan's super PAC is doing. And the whole notion, by the way, of like the expansion of the playoff field, something that I just laugh about nationally is when this was announced, it was like, there's not going to be any of the drama because 12 teams is so many, because of course, like who cares about numbers 10, 11, and 12? And here we are arguing, spending dark money because that's now not enough. 12 is not enough. We can expand this field as it happens in March Madness to 64 and still be mad about the 66th team. That is actively the magic of what the college sports system is, which is, by the way, yes, a giant bank that the people who put the most money in Notre Dame are now not understanding. I thought you wanted our money, and now you're not going to get our money. You're going to get Mike Ryan's money. Congratulations.
Amin, what do you have here?
I got a question for Mike. The sign said H2H matters, Miami in. Were they charging you by the character?
Great question.
It seems pretty obvious, yeah. There was another lieutenant in our Air Force that negotiated that deal. I just contributed to a pot.
So those 6 letters, major difference.
I mean, imagine, it's flying from Opelika. You got to cut corners where you can.
It's like the scene from the Three Amigos where this tried to send a telegram to the Three Amigos like it's cost too much. I'll give you the 10 peso version.
I know that because I'm a movie guy.
Do you know what the rejected ones were, Mike? Were there other options? Were you part of the decision-making process on what would it would say on the banner itself?
That was workshop in the group chat, but I just, Venmo'd somebody.